I've just finished my 10th week at Preston Hockey Club, coaching the men on a Wednesday night. This is my first season with them. I was presented with the opportunity throughout the summer, as I knew it would be a new challenge for me, and it has. It's been great. I've developed as a coach so far, but because it's my 10th week, I thought I'd change things a little bit. So I always talk to the players about once they're at that level of being comfortable within a skill or the intensity or stuff along that line. I always talk to them about pushing themselves a little bit further so they're above that comfortable level. Because when challenges applied, an optimal level of challenge, that's when you really see the development. So when the players get comfortable, that development might not progress as quick. So I always talk to my players about that comfortable line and pushing themselves and using the initiative. So since this, I've just done the 10th session now. I'm doing a vlog now because it's fresh in my mind. I've not even taken my shoes off. But I decided last week, I thought, right, I'm at this comfortable level. I reflected on my practice. I realised I am at this comfortable level. So I thought, right, now it's time to really challenge myself again. And arguably, this has probably been my biggest challenge yet as a coach. So I thought I'd change how I run the session. Again, I like to give players an awful lot of ownership over skills, let them use their initiative. Leaders start to appear, and some weeks I select people that might not put themselves forward to challenge them and progress their development as well. So what I'd usually do on a session, I usually talk to the players. They do their warm-up, thorough warm-up, probably half an hour warm-up in total, which includes dynamics, skills, stretches, small unit play, might even include hockey. We sometimes play a game of rollerball or tag, but it's still really realistic to the game, using similar movements at rollerball, getting low to the ground, getting back up. So that's been the same. But on a normal week, talk to them about a theme, and then I do 3 main aspects towards that theme. So you almost repeating, working towards the goal, but in different situations, in game-like situations. But today I changed that. Well, not today. For this session, I changed that. At the weekend, I spent 3 hours planning a 2-hour session, an hour and 45-minute session, because I was really racking my brain. And what I came up with in the end, after looking at previous plans I've done, thinking about what other coaches have done, looking in my little coach's book, write down little notes when I can, I changed the session so it was done in stations. So again, there was still a theme there, there was still an objective. The theme this evening was improving sport-specific fitness, so improving the hockey-specific fitness, using fitness in skills. Now, it sounds pretty basic at this point, and it was a basic session. And I asked them straight away, first of all, after they did their game, the little small unit play, incorporated tennis balls and football and stuff like that, just to keep them on the toes, keep myself on the toes. I then spoke to them about the objective of keeping the quality of hockey at that high level whilst under fatigue. So that's not just the physical side, that's also the mental side, keeping their head tuned in, what decisions they make when they're tired. Is their decision always the right decision? Unfortunately, we can't always make the right decision, but hopefully that will happen more often, make that decision more often. And then I asked them to just do basic push pass, 5 yards apart, high quality, high intensity, dead easy. The next bit, I didn't actually make them do it, but I spoke to them about if you did interval training for 10 minutes and I asked you to do it again, would that quality be high, be still that same standard? They said, well, they would be a lot more tired, so they would probably mentally make more mistakes. They think because most of them have played hockey for years, that muscle memory, that habitual movement would still be there, but they might not make the correct decisions. So then we incorporated that into 4 stations. So station 1 was a simple post, control and send. that came from different directions. Each station had 3 progressions, or 4 progressions over 20 minutes. So that's the first station. Second station was working on elimination. Again, basic skill, V-drags, possible rollouts. And I asked them as well throughout that when they were active, because there was plenty of opportunities to rest, that they worked at that high game pace with that high quality. And they were getting tired throughout the night, but that's what you expect. And that I wanted to see them get tired and see how they reacted. So that was good. The third one was small unit play, but the goals were all over the place. So it wasn't just get from A to B. It was possibly A to Z almost. There wasn't just an easy option, but that was small unit play again. We had to think about something else that was still basic, but that something else might have thrown them off and created a little bit of fatigue. So again, seeing how they work like that. And the other one was another post, receive and pass, but in many different directions. And there was aerial balls incorporated. We incorporated how they would do that on the reverse, how they would do that with a little lift. So every single activity was really, really simple. And again, at the same time as this, I was working with the goalkeepers. On their theme was to work on their footwork and the speed of the footwork. But not only just working on the footwork, they had to think about many other things at the same time. But these many other things were really simple. But when you combine everything together and you're working at a high intensity for a short period of time, that fatigue increases again. So we progressed that together. I gave them some progressions, came up with some idea. But as a whole, I was just going around every single group, every single time. So I had about 20 minutes in each. Every group had a go at everything. So that was my 2 hours gone. I talked to them about if they got to a point where it was not too easy, but they were at that comfortable stage, they don't need to wait for me to change it. They're not kids. Kids, obviously, they're not too certain about when to change things, or they might be scared or to do the wrong thing. And when I was saying to these guys, I'm forward with them and say, I'm not bothered if you make the wrong mistake. If you make a mistake, realise you've made a mistake and change it, that's great. One of the keepers tonight made a mistake straight away, but then he did the same thing. He did the same drill, exactly the same again, but it was so different because he had, even though he didn't realise, he reflected on that first attempt. He completely messed it up, but I didn't say anything. I could see him thinking. He went back and he pretty much nailed it the second time. So even that reflection, that short period of time, that's what I spoke to him about. I was like, I'm not bothered. And he also talked about all the players about using their initiative. If you want to progress it, or you want to challenge yourself individually, not just group, you do that. And by the end, I had that basically nailed in the head. So it was my most challenging session yet. Because, well, first of all, I've been exposed to challenge specifically mostly at uni over the past 2 years. So I was presented with the opportunity to coach at the England Hockey Performance Centres. So this is my second programme now. And coaching at Preston Hockey Club, they're my main 2 challenges whilst at uni. But they were presented to me. Now I'm constantly trying to challenge myself and reflect on my own practice. And the Performance Centre and at Preston have really been a huge challenge. I've noticed my development, even looking at my plans from 2 years ago, they've changed so much in how I would coach. So this is the first season where I've coached boys, girls, men and women. So coaching in many different contexts, different abilities, different genders, different ages, different levels in the England hockey player pathway. But those opportunities were presented to me. So I thought, I need to challenge myself. I've realised at this point that I'm at this comfortable. So I really took on a lot this evening, and I could reflect on so much. Some stuff I tried worked really, really well, better than I ever imagined. Other stuff didn't really work. But the players spoke to me about that, saying, can we change this? It's like, you don't need to come and speak to me. You just change it. They don't need to be told when to change. So it was really good. And at the end of the session, I spoke to them why I'd done what I'd done this evening. I spoke to them about my personal development and continuing to develop then, do something different. So I asked them as a whole group. There was probably, I think, 25, 30 there tonight. I asked them I'd really appreciate some more feedback, and 3 of the guys came to me at the end of the session and provided me with their feedback. It was absolutely brilliant. It was so good. Some of the stuff I knew I was conscious of anyway. Maybe about sometimes in the past I might talk a little bit too much. Now I know I do that, so I've been concentrating really hard recently on changing that. So they said that was good tonight because that didn't happen. At the beginning we spent about 10 minutes going around in total all the 4, what the themes were, what each progressions were, and I also had them on a piece of paper in a wallet of what each progression was, so they didn't have to come and ask me or forget. So that saved a lot of time, and I didn't speak to them. I didn't bring them in once the whole night. They went to go and get a drink after every activity, but that was one piece of feedback I took a while ago, and I incorporated that. So I didn't bring them in once, so I didn't talk to them. Obviously that little bit at the beginning, so that was good. And again, going back to the different coaching contexts, the other guy came to me and said, you know, sometimes you need to be real with us. You need to tell us, you need to do this, you're doing this wrong, you need to do it this way, not that way, because you're going to lose the ball, etc. So if I was coaching that, if I said that to children, to be the extreme example, they will get demotivated that there might even be tears. But because I'm been coaching, like I said, 10 weeks now, I've got to know these players better now, and I know who I can be forward with because that's their personality, that's what they want for their development. So that was a huge piece of feedback, and I've taken it on board straight away. Obviously I still can't go all guns blazing because they might get offended, and I'm also, like I said, also asking for their reflection, and they can reflect on their own practice. And the final piece of feedback I received was that because it was so different, they'd never done anything like that before. They'd done a little bit of stations, but maybe as a warm-up or just a fitness thing. But over the 2 hours, they were all engaged for that full time, even the goalkeepers. And I'm challenging myself this season with goalkeepers because they've, in the past, it's almost just been they go and stand in goal. They're going to play a game, you just go and stand in goal. So I've had fantastic feedback from goalkeepers, and I was definitely challenged tonight, and that's why I'm doing a vlog now, first ever vlog, because it's fresh in my mind, and I'm hoping to just continue to progress. Yeah, like I said, it was so challenging, it was really hard. I didn't stop for the whole 2 hours. I was always working around, how can I help these guys? Do they need help? Can they see the help by themselves? And it was good when, it's always motivating for me when someone asks for some help or I give them a tip, let's say, or a coaching point, they instantly put that into practice or put it in practice later, and you can see the improvement. It's almost sometimes in the head they go, all right, okay, I get that now, I might explain it a different way. So again, I'm always still progressing, and this reflective blog is brilliant because I can look, even at the end of the year, I can look at what I've written at the very beginning to compare to what I've written at the end, and how I've improved as a coach again. I can go and look at my my session plans I've looked at a few years ago. I can look at my session plan from Performance Centre, Preston, from Greater Manchester County Hockey, from sports camps I've done, from gifted and talented camps. Again, different context. And I feel I've progressed at each stage at the moment. I'm just hopefully going to keep working my way up.